All right, let's get some analysis then from Camelia Entekhabifard, who's in Dubai. She's the editor-in-chief of the Independent Persian. Camelia, what are your expectations for how this election will go? Because it sounds like we heard there that a lot of Iranians themselves have already lost faith in it.
Lots of Iranians lost their faith. Many Iranians hasn't turned out to cast their vote. And more important, in my opinion, it wasn't any challenges. It was very easy going races, as everyone expecting Raisi tomorrow call as the winner of this election. This is the big disappointment for the Iranians. But at the same time, I can see a great unities between the Iranian inside Iran and outside Iran. For the first time after the revolution, it was one cause to call for all of them to be united and to boycott the election.
So you mentioned there that there wasn't really any main challenge. So can we say then that Iran's elections are free, or that there's interference from the country's top leaders?
We never had a free election. It was always all those competitors has been chosen by the Council of the Guardians. Regardless, it was sometimes those competition become between a candidate people favored. Why? Because their plan to make the reform, to challenge the establishment were interested Iranians. And at this time, we only not having had that kind of challenges, any favored candidates or any interesting one to run at these races. Also, the supreme leader extremely filtered anyone who can run at this election. We understand that the Council of the Guardian is supposed to be free and also a group that is not linked to any parties and individually act, but definitely we understand the supreme leader choices was very important. He wanted Raisi easily without having any hopes or anyone to challenge him become the president. And I believe all the ground has been made the days before, weeks before, months before for his presidency.
OK, so if Raisi is the front runner and it's likely then that the next president is a conservative, do you think then that we'll see a complete abandonment of Hassan Rouhani's reformist agenda?
The reformist agenda abandoned by people, and he hasn't succeeded to make any reforms simply because each time the reformists needed the public votes, they turned to them. But it turned to be a huge disappointment for public. I'm not seeing that Mr. Raisi would abandon anything that may you call reform. There is no reforms. But if this reform means a negotiation with the Western country over Iran nuclear deal, we should say yes, that would be happen. If we would say they would reach an agreement with the United States over Iran nuclear program, yes. Because today even Rouhani is the head of the office said that would be a good changes for the Iranian economy, and also he promised that the deal would be happen after the election, after the next president has been chosen. Raisi doesn't want to provoke the public. He doesn't want to make himself look like a demon, which already that has been portrayed for many Iranians. He would have a very steady presidency. Even I wouldn't be surprised if he has some of those reformists or even the moderate politicians asked to join his government, because as I believe that he has a bigger agenda and he has been prepared to become the next supreme leader. Because of that 4 years of the presidency wouldn't be as extreme harsh as we were thinking. But sadly, he is not the president of the people, because the number of the votes he has received by people, it is not a huge and impressive number.
OK, Camelia, thank you. We'll be watching these elections closely and bringing you the results in the coming hours. Thank you.